Hey guys, Coach Kuiper here, back with another installment of Kuiper's Coaching Concepts here at Kuiper Baseball. I'm here talking today about controlling the run game, and one of my favorite aspects of controlling the run game is balk moves. Okay? Do I subscribe to cheating? No, I do not, but let's face it, there are aspects of the game where there are gray areas, and in these gray areas, each individual umpire may have a different interpretation, so at times we are going to push the envelope to find out how much of this gray area they will allow us to play in. I have had some umpires tell me point blank, it's not a balk, so if we can do it and he's not going to call it and he doesn't want to call it and he knows exactly what we're doing, then it's not a balk and it's not breaking the rules in his opinion. Therefore, we're not cheating. We're just playing within the confines and the constraints that this set of umpires is allowing us to play within. So in that respect, I will just call it a balk move and say, to the letter of the law, in my experience, I believe these to be balks, but again, that gray area allows for some wide interpretations. Okay, what is a balk move? Well, I talked about A, B, and C moves. I talked about maybe an A+ move, but when it comes to a balk move, the number one thing that I want to talk about is make your pick look just like your pitch. Okay, if you guys are all doing video analysis, which I sure hope you're doing, I like to use the free app Huddle Technique. I'm a big believer in it, love that app. Not getting sponsored for that, but I appreciate everything that they've done. They've helped make me a better coach. So I would download that app, Huddle Technique, H-U-D-L. You can find it on the App Store, it's free. I encourage you to check it out, because what I like to do is I'll take my phone, everyone's got phones with them, I'll take my phone and I will record even a dry drill of some guy, some pitcher that I'm helping, and I will show them what their first few frames look like on their pitch, and sure enough, when they pick, they look completely different, okay? If you're going to set a runner up and show him a pick move, one of your A+ moves, your balk moves that looks just, in order to make it as good as possible, you need to make your best move look just like your pitch. And this is where the uniqueness of who you are and how you pitch comes into play with selecting the right balk moves. So, for some of you guys, we're going to talk about the left side of your body. So the front side, what are you doing? Most base runners are taught, oh, look at his left heel, look at his front heel if you're a right-hand pitcher. Look at his left heel. Is that moving? Is that lifting up? Other guys are taught, look at the knee, okay? And you get into a few other styles of pitchers who, again, it's the first few frames of their first movement in a pitch. So some other guys are pitching, let's go, some guys lift the heel, some guys break the knee without lifting the heel. Some guys turn the hip. Some guys roll the shoulder in. Some guys lean back maybe to get a little momentum. Some guys start to leak out. So there's a variety of different first actions that you need to be aware of. And you need to figure out, what is it that you do? What do you do with your front side, if you will, this lead leg? What do you do in the first few frames? So if you're putting yourself in the position of a runner, what are the first few things? Now, it may seem very subtle, but trust me when I say it's the subtleties in the human brain to be able to pick out between those two subtleties that's going to be the difference of whether you fool them or not. So first, find out what you do, and then counter by incorporating a pickoff move that mimics those first few frames, and then you pick, okay? Here's the example. We're going to go all the way up and show you some examples. So if I'm a heel lift guy on my pitch, I'm going to make a heel lift on my pick. Now that was subtle. I'll go ahead and make it exaggerated for point of emphasis. Heel, hop, okay? Can't do that, okay? If you do that, you're committed to the plate. But if you make it one quick action, then I've seen plenty of umpires say, no, that's just his pickoff move, okay? Again, heel, pitch, little twitch and go. Now, again, it becomes a slight difference between heel and knee. A lot of guys are very similar in this, but let's just try to break it down, and I'll try to do a little bit of a knee guy. I'm not a knee guy so much. I was more of a heel lift guy, but I'll try to do here an example of a knee break guy. Okay, there's your knee break pitch. There's your knee break in, and then pick. Okay, let's keep going. Hit, guy who's a hip rotator, hip, rotate, and come over. That was pretty subtle, but I'll do that one more time just to make it exaggerate just a little bit. I had an old teammate of mine who really used to exaggerate because when he was a pitcher, he was a huge hip turner. So what he would do is he would shimmy and then come over. Get away with it all the time. He picked off quite a few guys. Nobody really called him on it because he was so quick about it. There's your hip. Let's go up to the shoulder. Okay. Boom. Same thing. Come set. Shoulder. You got to be fast with this one because that one gets pretty obvious. And then let's talk about the hip lean. More so than anything, I see guys doing this. The lean, the fall, guys who like to slide step especially. Right? If you can counter that with a slight lean and then pick, I think you're going to have an opportunity to get that guy to extend. Even if he extends this much and starts going the wrong way, half a step is just enough to be able to get that guy off of first. Okay, so those are some of the things that I'd like to emphasize. Again, use these at your own risk, and you have to be fast. You have to be quick. You have to make those first few frames of your pick look like the first few frames of your pitch. Do those things, practice them, use video, and trust me when I say these will get you out of plenty of jams. I love working on this stuff. You've got to be quick, you've got to be good, and you've got to understand when to apply it. Talk maybe a little bit more about when to apply, when to combat runners' leads, when to use certain ones of these. And I guess maybe one thing I'll say is you can start to, at some of the upper levels, you can start to figure out what each base runner is looking at. A good base runner is going to know what you do with your first few frames, but maybe they don't. So if you can start figuring out what they're looking at, maybe they're just trained, maybe they're not that sophisticated, and they always look at heel even though you're a lean guy. Okay? If you don't know what they're looking for, then you don't know how to apply it. Now, yeah, you want to do your exact same frames, first 3 frames, just like the first 3 frames of your pitch, but you can also figure out, well, why isn't this guy biting when I'm doing my good move? If you do your first 3 frames of your pitch when you're picking on your balk move and you're still nowhere close to getting on the guy, either A, you're not doing it enough, maybe go to a 4th frame, a 5th frame, or B, he's looking at something different. If you're a shoulder turn guy and you're not picking him off when you do your shoulder wiggle and go, then he's probably looking at your heel. Okay? Even though you're not a heel guy, he's probably looking at your heel. So you might go, maybe I just need to do a heel lift balk move in order to get this guy that one time because he's looking at my heel and I'm going with my shoulder first. So those are some of the things that I would think about if you're not having this success and you're not seeing the reaction from the base runner on your best move, because that's always frustrating, isn't it? You give him your best move and that guy's almost in there standing up. Yeah, that tells you that either he knows something, you're giving it away, or he's looking at a different part of your body. So we'll leave it at that. Those are some of the balk moves. Like I said, caution, use it at your own risk, but understand what the umpiring crew is going to call on a given day. Again, it's a gray area, and I would I would encourage you guys to find out what areas of gray you can operate in. Be quick, be fast, take as much gray as you can. Do that, you're going to have a lot of success. Talk to you later.